Madonna receives a groveling apology from NYC's Museum of Sex over an exhibit that suggests the Queen of Pop ignored the AIDS crisis in the 1980s after she actively raised money to support friends who were dying. The Museum of Sex in New York City had to issue an apology to Madonna after erroneously asserting that she disregarded the AIDS crisis during the 1980s. The museum claimed that Madonna and other mainstream musicians had failed to openly acknowledge the devastation of the moment in an exhibit on music videos from the 1980s. However, the museum was forced to issue an apology when supporters and AIDS activists jumped to the Queen of Pop's defense, sharing newspaper clippings, old interviews, and album art that displayed her early campaigning. A fan account claimed that the museum was displaying willful ignorance, while the AIDS Memorial Twitter account urged it to get your facts right. The museum responded by saying, "We have since changed the museum's signage to highlight the early actions Madonna took to raise awareness of the AIDS crisis. We apologize for any harm that this may have caused. It was entirely accidental." Madonna was among the first public personalities to promote empathy for AIDS victims and raise awareness of the disease's symptoms and mode of transmission. Madonna wrote songs about the HIV crisis, raised awareness of the issue, and organized fundraisers during a time when receiving an HIV diagnosis was viewed as a death sentence. In the 80s and 90s, she participated in, modeled in an all-star AIDS benefit fashion show at Barney's, and participated in dance-a-thons to raise money for the disease. In one of the first celebrity AIDS benefits, her inaugural global tour raised $400,000 for AMFAR, the Foundation for AIDS Research. In the 1990s, she lost a number of mentors and friends to AIDS. Keith Haring, a close friend of hers, passed away from AIDS in 1990. In 2018, Madonna shared a picture of the two of them and wrote, "He was a big AIDS activist when everyone was calling it gay cancer. I was present when he passed away from AIDS." He claimed that the thing that hurt him the most was that after he touched doorknobs, people were afraid to touch them. Back then, the discrimination was extreme.